Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Stock Market Today. It's Alissa Coram here. I'm joined by Ed Carson. And Ed, we did see some mixed action today, but some compelling moves from a couple of top growth stocks today.
Yeah, definitely. It was a stock picker's market. Growth stocks did well. Alteryx and Teradyne both cleared cup with handle buy points, while Netflix closed above another entry point. So solid action for stock pickers, at least.
All right, well, we'll be taking a look at those, but first let's check in on the major indexes. This is a chart of the NASDAQ here, and it did finish fractionally higher today, eking out a gain of about 0.2% for the day, while the S&P 500 fell 0.4%, and the Dow split about 0.7%. But this comes after 2 days of pretty strong gains.
Yeah, the major indexes, I mean, the NASDAQ rebounded from its 21-day line. The S&P rebounded from its 200-day. So this is, it's okay to see this. We're consolidating near record highs on the NASDAQ. There's some negative news out there with coronavirus cases and hospitalizations increasing a lot in a lot of the U.S. Beijing keeps on reimposing shutdown restrictions. But, you don't want to get, too bullish and always got to be reassessing your stocks in your portfolio. But overall, the market is looking all right here.
Yeah, good point. Well, let's check in on a couple of leading growth stocks, starting off with Alteryx, ticker AYX, breaking out today, as Ed mentioned, gaining about 3.6% today. Now, it doesn't look like, this chart isn't exactly where it closed right at the bell, but it doesn't look like it appeared to close above that level too strongly.
No, it didn't. It's like you could argue that there was a downward sloping handle if you wanted to, but so it was fairly positive action. I mean, the market faded, and the fact is that you might think that your stock is special, but stocks tend to follow the major indexes, so it's not entirely surprising. Alteryx, it has a bit of a lumpy earnings growth. It's supposed to have earnings down this year, but it also has really solid sales growth, and it is profitable. It's supposed to have really strong growth next year. Thanks for pointing that out. And I think one of the issues is that it is uneven. It has sort of like big moves up and down, so you have to know that it is a volatile stock.
Yeah, it is, but it's definitely on our list of stocks that are at least flirting with breakouts because, again, a lot of the leading growth stocks that led the market rally are now pretty well extended. So this is one that isn't, so we're definitely keeping an eye on it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and next let's take a look at Teradyne, ticker TER here in the semiconductor equipment group. It also broke out today above a handle entry, following up on gains yesterday, a nice gap up that it had on Tuesday, but it hit a little resistance at this entry here, tacked on a gain of about 1.8% today, Ed.
Yeah, so you can sort of say today is a continuing the breakout attempt. Today it did sneak just above it. It sort of stayed above the buy point just barely all day. When the major indexes faded, it just sort of stayed 10, 20 cents above the buy point. It was nice action here. This is not the first chip maker to break out or the first chip equipment maker to break out, but the relative strength line has really come on in the last several weeks. So really strong in this thing. It's hitting a new high. And, before the coronavirus, it had a strong uptrend as well. So it's fairly positive action. This one's actually has one of the steadier growth names in the chip equipment field because it sells even during downturns, because a lot of its sales are, so its sales never really fell, too much in 2019, seeing accelerating growth. Presumably that'll slow because of the coronavirus, but it's been doing really well.
Yeah, and what I like to see on this weekly chart is that relative strength line hitting a new high. Definitely a bullish confirming indicator with this move here, Ed.
Yeah, that's a good thing to point out. And you can find blue dot stocks like that. Stocks are hitting new highs in the RS line, right in that open stock ideas. Not too many today. I know it's like 0 stocks today, but it was today. But it didn't show up that way, but it was really nice action today.
Yes. And last but not least, let's check in on Netflix, which is reporting its quarterly earnings in about a month from now, but solid move here today, up about 2.7%, rebounding off of the 50-day line, which is good to see because we've been talking on IBD Live a lot about how this one's been playing possum a bit.
Yeah, it has. And I think actually, but this is one, if this is a coronavirus play. So if you're worried about the coronavirus, this stock should probably hold up reasonably well. You could have bought yesterday when it rebounded from the 50-day line, 10-week line. You can also argue that it's the today, what it got above was either a handle on a daily chart. I'm sorry, I was like a handle. The consolidation's too short, but it still has that handle feel. It was actually 5 days. And on a weekly, it is actually a 3 weeks tight entry, that same point from last week. So getting above that is also a buy point. So yesterday was a place where you could have entered, but today also provided a new entry point. So this one's probably not going to grow as fast as some of the others, but it's not. But in this kind of environment with the coronavirus coming back, a steady winner is probably not a bad thing for to consider for your portfolio.
And like I said, we will get the earnings report in about a month, and maybe a little bit more color from management about their updated expectations for subscribers through the remainder of the year, as perhaps the outlook on coronavirus and staying indoors has maybe changed a little bit with news like you've alluded to, Ed, of cases spiking back up.
Yeah, and that's just going to be hard to tell, but probably not too many people are going to be canceling their subscriptions in the near future. I think that's probably safe to say.
I think that is safe to say. All right, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us today. And be sure to check out IB Live tomorrow morning. That is where we will continue the discussion on current market conditions and top stocks making notable moves. So we hope you check it out at investors.com/IBD Live. And that is it for today. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you right back here tomorrow.